Okay, so let's have a look at the timeline, first of all, of Celeste. So this was something very interesting on X, somebody that I follow on X, which are called Legacy. And they broke down the timeline of the Tesla and the discovery of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So I'm going to read that out basically because I think it's a very good. I couldn't explain it any better, so I want to give this person their credit. Let's have a look. So, timeline of the Tesla and the discovery of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So, on the 26th of August, a neighbour reported a large dent in the rear of the Tesla. No odour mentioned. On the 27th of August, an officer inspected and cited the car. Still no odour noted. And then on the 25th of, is it going backwards this? How's this working? 25th of August. Anyway, I'll just read it as it is. So on the 25th, oh gosh, I never understand the way Americans put their dates. Is that the 3rd of September? Sorry, yeah. Sorry, in Britain we put the dates the other way around. So on the 3rd of September, the car was ticketed again after remaining in the same spot. No odour was mentioned. But then on the 5th of September, the Tesla was towed and impounded. And then on the 8th of September, the day after Celeste's birthday, because you know it was Celeste's birthday on the 7th, the tow yard reported a strong odour coming from a Tesla with Texas license plate. So just to remind people, this happened in Los Angeles, California. And they found Celeste's severely decomposed remains inside a black trash bag in the front of the Tesla registered under David's name. So the weather conditions at the time in Los Angeles, in late August, the temperatures were 85 to 95 degrees daytime highs. And so now we've all been in hot cars at some point, haven't we? We know what a horrible feeling it is if you're in a car and your aircon's not working. It's terribly oppressive, isn't it? So and the late August temperatures there in Los Angeles would have been 85 to 95 degrees daytime highs. And inside a sealed car, that would make 120 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit possible interior temperatures. These conditions can lead to advanced decomposition in as little as 4 to 7 days. That's very quick, isn't it? Now, some other information about Teslas. The cabin is airtight. It traps odour inside much longer than older cars. And they have climate control sealing, which may explain why no one smelled anything even as the days passed. Another thing I just want to say, she may say this, or I'm saying she, it might be he or she, I'm not sure. It's one of those X accounts where you don't really know who the real person is. But Tesla, what came up in the interview that I watched with Ashley Banfield, of course, there's cameras everywhere. So if those cameras, they should be within the car, or Tesla may have the details of who was the last person to close the boot, who's the last person to use the car. There's cameras dotted around these Teslas, and if they'd been activated, there may well be this data may actually show. I mean, surely it'll show her being put in the front then. So I expect this is all the investigating that the police are doing at the moment to try and get as much data as they can. So key observations, according to this person: the lack of odour reports on the 26th of August and the 27th suggests that maybe Celeste was not dead yet or very recently. Severe decomposition does not necessarily mean she had been dead a long time before August the 26th, because in Los Angeles heat, just a few days could cause advanced breakdown. And even by the towing away on the 5th of September, odour might have been fully contained within the Tesla. What remains unknown, according to this person: Celeste's body may hold critical answers about the time, date of death, and how she passed. And establishing the timeline of when Celeste was last seen alive is essential to understand what happened. Actually, just let me like that. So yeah, poor Celeste. I mean, she could pass, I think, for 16, maybe 17, but not much more, could she? But there's one, to me, I think it's likely that David, he knew, that she was underage, and probably all his team did as well. So it's not only David that's culpable here for the actual, PDF nature of this case, but also his team, who must have known. That's the Tesla, I think. They must have known that she was underage. And, when I see this photo and a little cross around her neck, it's very, very sad. A shame Jesus couldn't protect this girl, because she needed it. She really needed it. Bless her. So that's what this person thinks of as a timeline. I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was, a good timeline. To sit down and do a timeline takes time and effort. So thank you for that. Okay, let's have a look now at Ashley Banfield. And what's it called? She's got a few channels. Of course, she's on News Nation, but she's got this Ashley Banfield Drop Dead something. What is it? Drop Dead. Just like that. I think I am subscribed on here. Drop Dead Serious, it's called. It is a very, I do think there's so much. So, as I say, Travis Decker's story sort of coming to an end, if you like, and those poor girls. But this is a case that is literally just starting. It'd be interesting to see how this goes. Is David going to come clean? Is he going to come clean? Did he do it, or was it somebody else? Because we have to remember, it may not have been him. Somebody else might have used his car. So they've got all that to find out, haven't we? So let's have a look at this. Oh, I'm not sharing. Sorry, I've just realised I wasn't sharing. I'll share now. Go back to the beginning.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield, and this is Drop Dead Serious. Another day, another flurry of developments in the case of an up-and-coming R&B singer named David, spelled D4VD, and the underage teen runaway who was found dead in the trunk of his Tesla. That is a headline that this singer cannot escape, and nothing good is going to come of it. But David has escaped the limelight. He has been off the grid and out of sight ever since his house was raided, his concert tour was canceled, and the badly decomposed remains of that young girl were shipped off to the medical examiner.
Yeah, he has sort of disappeared, hasn't he? Nobody's putting any statements out on his behalf, like lawyers or agents. People have cancelled sponsorship. They've cancelled his tour. His his lease on the property he was renting, that's been cancelled. But no word from David at all. He's not out there saying, no, I don't know what happened to this girl. He's just making no comment whatsoever, which is probably what he's been advised to do by his lawyer, I suppose. It's all, we don't even know where he is. He's certainly not in police custody because they couldn't have kept him all this length of time without charging him.
There has been so much talk about this case online. But one thing that hasn't had much attention yet is the car itself, and the stories that car can tell us, even if the dead teenager can't. It's a Tesla, a 2023 Model Y. I actually own the same car, and I have been learning so much about the virtual treasure trove of data that my car collects and that my car sends out. Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in the frunk. That's the forward trunk. It was David's Tesla, and by all indications, Celeste had been in that frunk for a while, locked in there, wrapped in plastic, baking in the Los Angeles summer sun. And here's why that matters. What happened inside that car?
Yeah, so apparently she was wrapped in plastic. I mean, at the end of the day, at the very least, if maybe Celeste, for, I don't know, if we sort of think, well, maybe she wasn't murdered, maybe she unalived herself, or maybe it was an accidental overdose. Somebody disposed of the body and put it in the front of this car. She didn't do that, did she? So at the very least, this is desecration of a corpse.
The heat, the conditions, the rate of decomposition, it changed the state of her remains. And what's more, the Tesla itself may hold clues about who put her in there. Data, location history, times that the trunk opened and closed, which car doors opened and closed, passenger as well as driver side door. Might there have been two people? Where had the car come from before being abandoned?
So we've all got dogs, all these YouTube creators, and there's always a dog, isn't there? This is must be Banfield's dog. I don't know why I should just put a picture of it in there.
And that car might even tell us who was driving it when it was abandoned, and who closed that trunk for the very last time. There are 8 cameras around the outside of a Tesla, and it can pull in video and pictures constantly. There's also a camera inside that Tesla, also can record pictures of who's driving. This is technology that could tell investigators things that no eyewitness ever could.
Yeah, so it's very interesting, that, isn't it? The thing is, you're always being watched these days by something or someone. And as far as Tesla, I mean, I've never had a Tesla. I know people who've got them. They love them. They say they're brilliant. They've got very high. They've got a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Things like this. I don't know whether I'd quite like that, to be honest. It's not good to think that you're being filmed, everything you do, and it's being relayed back to Tesla. Now, of course, in a case like this comes up, that's going to be invaluable, isn't it? All that data. But as just a normal driver of a car, would you really want to think that Tesla could see exactly what you were doing when you opened the boot, when you closed it? All those things, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's going to result as being a good thing in this case, of course. But yeah, do you think that's what the police are poring over, maybe even as we speak, trying to get this information out of Tesla? Because we find out later from someone she's talking to, of course, companies like Tesla, They don't give away information freely, not even to the police. You would have to get a warrant, I would imagine, to access that data, because Tesla's got to cover their own backs, haven't they? Just like, other big companies.
If you're brand new to this story, and if you want the full timeline of everything that's happened in this story, I've put one together. I actually put together a playlist with all of our coverage on Celeste's disappearance and her death. And you'll see it in the episode description. But in this particular episode, we're zeroing in on the clues that Celeste's body might be able to tell us about her killer. And we're also digging into the forensic data from the Tesla itself, the secrets that car might be able to reveal. It is a case that is dark. And because of that, every bite could matter.
It is a very dark case, isn't it? But anyway, I'm going to fast forward because she goes on to, she's got a sponsor. She goes through a sponsorship. So let's just have a look what this expert had to say.
Yeah.
Now,
Wasn't it like 70 pounds or something crazy?
Right. When they recovered her remains, Ash, 71 pounds.
Now, that's an important thing. So they look at this missing persons poster. Celeste's weight is said to be 120 pounds. When Celeste's body was recovered, it was 71 pounds. So that's a massive difference. So it says on this missing persons poster, she was 13 when she went missing. I thought she was. That's, what I've seen everywhere, but some people say 14, but it doesn't matter. So a difference between 120 pounds when she went missing and 71 pounds when she was found. Why is that? It's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, he's going to give a few ideas.
49 pounds she's missing. So what can we determine from that? Well, we've heard reports of dismemberment, and there was one report from the police that said the body was not intact. So either we're missing something or she's in such an advanced state of decomposition. And look, I don't want to go too far over the top here, but bodies do have a tendency to break down and even liquefy to a certain degree. And in this heat, and I even remember in August, I've got friends in LA, and they were talking about it was a record-breaking heat wave that they were in during this specific period of time. And heat, as we know, speeds everything up, particularly decomposition.
Well, we all know how hot a car can get.
Yes.
This is a black.
Yeah, so another interesting thing is her Celeste's body has been released to her relatives for burial. So whatever they wanted to take, whatever information they needed from her remains, they've taken them. And they do that nowadays, don't they? They take the x-rays, they take the sonar pictures or whatever, they take samples from all the vital organs, and then they release the remains, because forensic science, years ago, they would not release a body until, somebody had been charged, and maybe even sometimes till they were actually convicted, just in case it might be needed again. But nowadays, they do store so much information from the body. And now she has been released, bless her, to her relatives who can bury her with dignity.
Tesla, it is the trunk. It is outside, likely in late August, early September in LA. Can you give me an idea of how fast a body can be in advanced or liquefied decomposition in that kind of an environment?
Yeah, relatively quickly. And if she's been packaged like in plastic in any way, that's also going to cause the body to sweat as well, contained within that within a plastic packaging. I'd heard some indication.
Now, I'm just to let you know, it does sort of go into a little bit more detail, really, than I'm going to go into. So I'm going to leave you there with that. If you want to watch the full video, go on to Ashley Banfield and on YouTube, and you can watch the whole video. He does go into some gory details that I don't want to go into. So where we are basically with this case, I've given you the timeline there that somebody worked out. this is what we know. This girl, this poor girl, 13 years old when she went missing, would be 15 now, was found in the front of the Tesla that belongs to David, the singer. He's sort of gone off the grid, really, but we know he was supposedly cooperating with the police. There was another, that was another thing that was going to just show. Yeah, from that same X account, what they were saying today is that the movers have stripped a $4.1 million Los Angeles mansion once rented by David and his manager. Exclusive photos obtained by the Daily Mail show delivery crews hauling boxes and furniture from the Hollywood Hills estate just days after police raided the property in connection with the death of 14-year-old Celeste. One thing we do know is David is out of the house and all his belongings are gone with him. And the silence is loud. Let's have a look. I'm going to have a look at the Daily Mail in a moment. But yeah, they're taking all the stuff out, moving everything out. But the police have already been in there, of course. So presumably, let's see if I can find the actual article in the Daily Mail. Can't find it. Oh, there it is. I can find it on the in the Independent. So David's mansion. Oh, let's share it. David's mansion emptied by movers as the mystery of the body found in the car continues. There he is, the man himself. Movers were spotted clearing out the $4.1 million Los Angeles mansion. Photos showed large boxes being carried out. Movers hauling boxes down a large flight of stairs. Yeah, it's more or less saying the same thing. So the longer this case goes on without any information from law enforcement, the more, of course, everybody's interest is piqued. So apparently the LAPD said that several items of evidence were taken from the singer's rental property. Yeah. Well, let me know what you think in comments. Do you think it's just a matter of time before this guy is charged? Or is it possible that somebody else did something to Celeste? Why won't that turn off? Anyway, is it possible that somebody else did something to Celeste and put her in his car? Is it just a coincidence? Even as I'm saying that, I'm sort of laughing to myself. But could be. Might be nothing to do with him, of course. We've got to remember that, haven't we? Okay, I'm going. I'll see you really soon in the next video. God bless Celeste. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, think about becoming a member. I may be back later on today, I'm not sure, but I'll see you soon, whatever way. It won't be long before I'm back chatting to you guys again. Thank you for watching. And thank you for caring, not only about Peyton, Olivia, and Evelyn, of course, the Decker sisters that we looked at first, the case of their brutal murder by their father, but also thank you for caring about Celeste. And we want justice for Celeste. Somebody killed this young girl, or somebody put her in that front at least, even if nobody killed her. They covered up her death one way or another. And she deserves justice, doesn't she? As we'd want for our own children. You know, we'd want justice for our loved one. And Celeste deserves that justice too. So thank you. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, as always, may your God go with you.